European and UK Brexit negotiators have been locking horns on Thursday after the EU's Ursula von der Leyen announced the bloc has launched legal proceedings against Britain, something that could easily backfire for the Brussels chief. The European Union launched a legal case against the United Kingdom on Thursday for undercutting their earlier divorce deal, and a senior UK minister said differences remained in talks on a post-Brexit trade agreement. Commenting on the latest move from Brussels, talk radio host Mike Graham argued the legal threat could backfire and simply cause the UK to walk away from the negotiating table without a deal. Speaking to Liberal Democrat MP Christine Jardine, who claimed the legal proceedings undermine the UK's international reputation, Mr. Graham said, "I wouldn't worry too much about the reputation. What I would worry about is that this to me would point everybody into a direction of no deal. Because we'll just go if that's what you want to do. If you want to go through the courts and delay this for years and years and years, we might as well pack our bags and go home. Maybe it's a cunning plan." Controversy over the UK's new internal market bill has thrown the Brexit process into a fresh crisis, while disagreements over corporate subsidies, fisheries and ways to solve disputes overshadow parallel trade negotiations. We had invited our British friends to remove the problematic parts of their draft internal market bill by the end of September, the head of the EU's Executive Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said. The deadline lapsed yesterday, with London not budging. She said the Commission started a so-called infringement, an EU legal procedure against countries that violate the bloc's laws, while continuing to work towards implementing the divorce deal, or withdrawal agreement. We stand by our commitments, von der Leyen said. London now has a month to reply to the Commission's formal letter of complaint and even more time to change tack before the Brussels-based executive can sue at the bloc's top court. The case could lead to hefty fines, but that takes years. Sterling slipped 0.6% against the euro and the dollar after the EU's action was announced. A no deal is looking more likely, said Neil Jones, head of FX sales at Mizuho, who predicted further falls. The United Kingdom says ensuring that its nations can trade freely with each other after Brexit would require breaking the divorce deal provisions on the sensitive Irish border. The lower house of Parliament approved the internal market bill on Tuesday, and it is now with the House of Lords. A UK government spokesman said in reacting to the news from Brussels that Britain has clearly set out reasons to change its Brexit treaty provisions. The EU is adamant, however, that it would not implement any new UK deal as long as London undermines the divorce treaty. It is the result of long EU-UK negotiations and the only way to protect Good Friday Agreement, guaranteeing peace and stability on island of Ireland, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier wrote on Twitter. The EU's 27 national leaders gathering in Brussels on Thursday and Friday were also due to get an update on the progress of talks on the new trade agreement, which are nearing crunch time. Senior UK Minister Michael Gove said differences still remain between Britain and EU in trade discussions, but that London would work hard for a deal. EU officials and diplomatic sources told Reuters negotiators had failed to close the gap on the key issue of state aid, where the EU wants London to agree rules compatible with its own. The bloc wants an independent British regulator to decide on state aid there, as well as a new EU-UK dispute settling mechanism that would create a new joint committee and an arbitration panel to adjudicate. Should one side fail to honor decisions made through that process, the arbitration panel could impose fines and the other side could retaliate by hitting bilateral trade elsewhere.